What's going on? Jebb here, and I am very glad to be back because we got a great show lined up for you today. Today, we're not only going to be talking about all of the major opportunities that are happening in Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies right now. We're going to be talking about why Bitcoin has had a major drop, where the bottom might be, and we're going to be looking for any kinds of opportunities that we can find in the cryptocurrency markets right now, because even though Bitcoin isn't doing a whole lot, there are still a lot of ways that you can make money in this market. For example, Matic has been absolutely killing it over the last couple of days, and Ethereum has actually been rallying quite a bit over the last 48 hours. We're going to be looking for a ton of opportunities in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency today and catching you guys up on all of the latest technical and fundamental analysis on Bitcoin. But it's actually going to be a special show today because here in a couple of minutes, I'm going to bring on one of our ministry partners, Joel Romulus, and we're going to talk a little bit about not only what we do here at the Crypto Jebb channel, but more importantly, vastly more importantly, why we do it. So we're going to bring him on for about 10 minutes, and then we are going to dive into a bunch of different TA. We got a lot of stuff to dive into today, guys. We're going to talk about the Bitcoin hash rate hitting a new all-time high. We're going to talk about options contracts expiring with $1.1 billion worth of them on Friday. And then we're also going to be talking about the very interesting conversations that were had on Capitol Hill yesterday as there was a cryptocurrency hearing. If you guys enjoyed today's show, make sure to smash that like button. I am joined, as always, by T.A. Tim. How you doing, Tim?
I'm doing good, guys. Back, good to be back in my seat. It was fun yesterday, but I
heard it's a good show.
This seat's comfortable, so
it is.
You know, yeah.
Well, there you go. Well, we are also joined, as always, by Smay. How you doing, Smay?
I'm doing very good, everybody. And just as always, I want to say something. I get to have the greatest privilege in the world to be able to shout out our fine, beautiful members. And I want to take that opportunity right now to shout out April Sue,
woo,
Army Piper,
woo,
and Alan Carey.
Woo.
We love you guys. You guys are the best. Your support means the world to us. Thank you.
Good deal. Welcome to the channel, everybody who has just joined over the last month or so. And I want to give a special shout out to Nwamaka in chat. We met her on the webinar about a month ago. Shout out to Nwamaka. She is one of our followers. But guys, we're going to go ahead and bring in our ministry partner, Joel Romulus, who I am extremely excited to have on the show. We're going to talk for about 10 minutes, and then we're going to dive right into the TA. Joel, happy to have you here. How you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing well. Happy to be here.
Heck yeah. I'm really excited for you to come on. So, Joel, let me ask you a question. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing here in Gainesville, Florida, and why you started doing it, because you have a really inspiring story, and you're doing something really inspiring with a lot of kids here in town.
Absolutely, absolutely. Grateful to be here. I'm going to start with the what. So, Made for More is a nonprofit, faith-based nonprofit organization that exists to mentor and inspire student athletes at the junior high, high level, and collegiate level. We do this through inspirational teaching, holistic mentorship, community involvement, both locally and internationally. And we have 4 pillars of our organization: to inspire, to mentor, to empower, and serve. Inspiration has to deal with the gospel. We're faith-based. We take kids through the first year of our program, teaching them who they are in Christ, helping them to know their worth. The second aspect of what we do is mentorship. We have a semester-based program where we take students, specifically students that are at lower or at-risk communities. So right now we're at Lincoln Middle School here in Gainesville. We take them through a curriculum where we're teaching them. We bring in guest speakers. We have food for the kids. They have one-on-one time with myself and other community leaders. And then we end that time at the end of the semester taking a local or an out-of-state trip. We're actually taking a group of kids to Atlanta. Super excited about that. They'll be able to see the King Center. We'll go to Stone Mountain and just do fun things where we can empower the kids to dream beyond just their sport, right? Many kids, they're like, man, what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be LeBron James. I want to be this one. It's like LeBron James is 1 in a million, but they have talents and they have things on the inside of them that they don't even know about. And that's our job. Our job is to come alongside them, give them a compelling reason, a compelling vision, and someone who believes in them. And we believe if you have those 3 things, a compelling reason, a compelling vision, and someone who believes in you no matter what, you can change the world. And so we come alongside these kids in our mentorship program. Then we also have an empowerment aspect of our curriculum where we teach some things like you guys are doing here, compound interest and how to save your money and how to connect with local business leaders to get them summer jobs and get them into
hopefully
the
how to buy
game.
Bitcoin.
Yes, exactly. And then the last part is service, right? At the end of the day, MLK has a quote that I love. He says, "The individual has not yet lived until they can rise above the narrow confines of their individualistic concerns to a broader concern for all of humanity. And that's what crypto Jebb is all about.
That's
how can we broaden our horizon to pour back in the next generation?
Man, I love that. I absolutely love that. And guys, the reason that we partner with Joel and the reason that I'm so excited to have him on the channel here today and why this is a very special episode that he's been able to come on is because you guys know my past, my story. I've gone into a good amount of detail on it here on the channel. I don't come from a whole lot. I mean, there's a lot of people that had it worse than I did, but I didn't come from a whole lot. And, you know, when I got started and when I started this YouTube channel, all I wanted to do, I was telling Joel this back about half an hour ago before we went live, I just wanted to help my family. Like, I just wanted to be able to take care of, you know, the people around me. That's what mattered to me. I wasn't starting this YouTube channel and I didn't get into cryptocurrency to go buy a fancy car. I didn't get into it to, you know, have a cool house. I didn't get into it to, you know, run a big flashy organization. That's not why I did it. I did it because I cared about investing and pouring into other people. And I think it's very important that we remember that Bitcoin was not designed to make you rich. It was designed to make you free. And the thing that we stand for is that we want to help you achieve financial freedom so that you can live a purpose-driven life, because I believe that's where you're going to find fulfillment and happiness in life, is when you are living in your God-given purpose and calling. And the way that you do that is you achieve financial freedom through getting out of constraining debt. You do it by getting out of poverty, and you do it by getting out of constraining financial systems that don't have your best interest at heart. But the thing that allows you to do that is by having something like Made for More when you're, you know, in middle school and going on to high school, where somebody's able to mentor you and inspire you and pour into you. And so that's why I love what you're doing, because you and I have the exact same heartbeat, Joel. And that's why I respect you, and that's why I think that I went and I watched you work with those kids about a month ago over at Lincoln Middle School, and they were glowing. Like, I remember in middle school being that kid.
Yep.
And I'm looking at that and I'm like, gosh, I wish I had someone like you in my life back in 8th grade, you know?
Absolutely.
So I'm just super pumped and excited to be working with you. And fun fact, everybody, this is pretty fun. Joel's actually the man that baptized me too before he went and started Made for More. He used to be the pastor at the church that I went to. So Joel, tell us, like, how do I ask this? Tell us a little bit, what really just like gets you going every morning? Like, you get to do something so cool that I think a lot of people, you know, maybe not envy, but they respect, and they say, man, I wish I could do that. What is it that gets you out of bed in the morning around this?
It's exactly that. You know, I think about heroes, right? We admire heroes. DC, you know, we admire Batman. And the reality is, like, Bruce Wayne, right? He has the opportunity to live this affluent life, to kind of be in his ivory tower and just to exist, but yet there's this nagging feeling he has of, like, I gotta help Gotham City. I gotta step into the darkness and kick out the back. Yeah, exactly, and step into that reality. And for me, it's that opportunity every day. I get a chance to walk into a middle school cafeteria. It's awkward. Here I am, this grown man stepping into this middle school, and yet I get to stand across and sit across a kid who's like, man, I'm trying to figure out my way, or a kid that just got out of juvie 2 months ago who, man, maybe he's on a bad path, but I get a chance to sit there and engage with him and say, you know what, I believe in you, and I'll be here to help you through and give you a vision of what is it you want to be, and I'm going to champion you and help you do this, that. And I do the same as a chaplain for the UF football team, where I get to step into a guy's world who maybe just fumbled or missed the pass and feeling like the world is kind of falling down upon him, and say, hey, you're made for more than this.
Yeah.
You're made for an extraordinary purpose. Your identity is beyond what you do. It's not just achieve, it's actually receive. And so at the end of the day, for me, it's the gospel, because I believe that's what Jesus did. He stepped out of his world, stepped into ours, and says, I see worth in you. I see hope in you. And that's what drives me, man. That's what gets me going. That's my passion.
That is absolutely amazing, Joel. Well, let me ask you this, because this is something that I think a lot of people, you know, they see, okay, Joel's doing something great. I got it. I don't feel like I am in a position where I can really help with that. I've only got, you know, I've got $100 my name. You know, what can I do? So let me ask you this. What can, like, $25 or $50 do for these kids? Because I think it goes a lot longer than people, a lot farther than people think it does.
Absolutely. I mean, if you have $50 in our program, every kid gets a Bible with their name engraved on it.
Wow.
We talk about work and purpose.
That's powerful. That's awesome.
And then I write a personal note on that cover of that Bible and give that to that kid.
Heck yeah.
At the end of their, you know, they have to graduate our program, keep our standards, but we get them a suit. We get them a suit. We partner with a local business here. They dress up. We take them to a nice restaurant. We teach them fine dining. They feel this sense of worth and dignity. And so, yeah, I mean, $100, we partner with Good Looking here. Yeah. That can go a mighty long way in letting a kid know, like, man, this is what it feels like. Many of them never actually tied a tie before. And so we're teaching them those skills. Or if you're here in town, we need more mentors.
Yeah.
Right? The harvest is plentiful, the labor is few, as an
Yep,
old
yep,
ancient
yep.
prophet said. You know what I mean? So we need, if you're
Heard
here
that
in
one before.
town, come reach out to me in my email. There'll be some information that Jebb will leave here, but we need more mentors. If you're here and you're a business leader and you're a part of this crypto community, if you would come and speak to these kids. We've had professors come and speak, local business leaders come and speak. Speak about your expertise, speak about your struggles and how you made it to the point you are now.
Right.
That would be another way to be a blessing to our organization. And so all of those ways and aspects, giving, volunteering, coming to be a guest speaker. We're taking a group of kids to Atlanta. If you want to be a chaperone, 30 kids, we need chaperones for that. And so those are the ways you can help and get involved.
That is so cool. Well, guys, also make sure, and I got one more question for you, but guys, make sure you check the first link in the description box down below. You can go to, I believe it's madeformore.com. I have it up right here. It is, madeformoreempire.org. That's an awesome name, guys. I have it up on the screen over here, and you can come and support them, and you can also get in contact with Joel. But Joel, let me ask you one final question here, buddy.
Absolutely.
If you were, 14 years old, is this the kind of organization that you wish you would have had in your life?
Oh, man, absolutely. Absolutely. I believe if I had this type of organization, which I had it in some form, it's why I started it, in a mentor who invested in me. He helped me open up my first mutual fund account at 18, taught me compound interest, gave me my first Bible, my first suit. And so I had it in many ways through a mentor that I met. He was my middle school teacher. And that's what launched me to do this, because I was like, man, this radically changed my life as a son of Haitian immigrants who was trying to find my way. My parents didn't know much here in this country. He came alongside me and began to champion me. And so likewise, in that same way, if I was a 14-year-old kid and had some of these aspects and these opportunities, it would shift the trajectory of my life in a greater degree. So, yeah.
That's incredible,
Absolutely.
Joel. Well, I really appreciate you coming on and telling a little bit about your ministry and everything. And guys, if you want to help Joel pour into these kids, because I've witnessed the power of having a mentor like him in front of these kids. I went and I actually made a video about it right after I was leaving about a month ago. You can go back on the channel and watch that, where, we get into cryptocurrency. I'm speaking from experience here, guys. What I'm about to say, I'm not saying pridefully. I'm saying it because I can tell you I've been there. Making millions of dollars in cryptocurrency is great, and it is a good feeling, but the reason that it's so powerful is not because of the dollar amount in your bank account. It's because of what you get to do with that. And the ability that we have to be able to pour into these kids through Joel's ministry is one of the things that gets us out of bed in the morning. So I just encourage you to read the book Start With Why by Simon Sinek, which I'm sure that's a book that you have read based on the way that you're speaking. Make sure you read that book and understand that there's something a lot deeper here than just making money. We're going to teach you how to become financially free, but there's a deeper reason. That's why when we are trying to teach you guys financial freedom, we're doing it so that we can help give you, help lead you towards a purpose-driven life. Joel, do you have any final thoughts for our audience here before we wrap it out?
Well, I would just say, similar to what you said, find a greater purpose. Find a bigger why. And at the end of the day, that's what true living is all about. Every time I step into that middle school, I feel alive. And I think Jesus was right. Awesome. It's better to give than to receive. So find a compelling reason, find a compelling vision, and get people who believe in you and go and change the world. And we have an opportunity to do that. You can partner with us in doing that, or you can find other organizations or start an organization. But whatever you do, step into the darkness, because on the other side of your fear, your trepidation is glory. I mean, and that's Jebb's story of starting this organization, and that's my story in launching Made for More. So you guys are Made for More. Continue doing what you're doing. And Jebb, thank you guys for investing in us and being one of our corporate sponsors. So
that's incredible. Thank you so much for coming on, Joel. I really appreciate it, buddy. I'm looking forward to. What's up?
Last question. I'm yelling.
Tim has one more question.
Someone asked in chat, can we donate in crypto to Made for More in any form? And if the answer is no at the moment, is there a way we can set that up so that people could donate?
I believe we could set that up, Tim. Could we? I think we could.
We can work on it.
We could work on it.
I see a couple people already donated and some people asking.
Awesome.
Crypto.
Absolutely.
Heck yeah.
One of the things we want to do, by the way,
Go ahead.
is as the kids graduate, we want to be able to teach them about investment through the program, but also deposit, and we're working with a couple of banks, some money into an account that can grow and compound. And so we're brainstorming and figuring out ways to, launch them and give them a launching pad, but later on in life, as they get summer jobs, they can put into that account and see it grow and get excited about, compound interest, crypto, things like that. So
Heck yeah. So anyone that wants to donate in cryptocurrency, shoot us an email, support@cryptojebb.com, and we will try and get that worked out. We don't have a system set up for that, but we can probably just go ahead and do it custom. And also, guys, I do want to mention that all the proceeds of today's super chats are also going to be going to Made for More. So any of you guys that love super chatting, all of those super chats are going to be going directly to Made for More. YouTube takes a 30% cut, so if you want to make sure that the as much as possible actually goes to Joel and the amazing ministry that he's running, make sure to check the link in the description box down below. But I did just want to let you know, any of you guys that feel the need to or the urge to super chat today, all of that is going to be going directly towards Made for More. Joel, thank you so much for coming on, buddy. Take it easy. We got Tim coming back in. Now, guys, we are going to jump into the pulse of the market. But, Tim, how awesome was that? Like, we don't get to do that every day.
I've known Joel for a long time. He, just so you guys know, he was a D1 prospect in high school that had so many concussions the doctors told him he couldn't play. So he has lived the life of, what is my life without sports? And so now he's helping all those kids figure it out as well. Hey, if sports doesn't work out, there's a lot going. I love Joel. I love that team. Yeah. Please donate to them. He is changing the world one kid at a time.
He really is. It is very inspiring to see what's going on over there, guys. But let's figure out what's going on with Bitcoin, because I know that's where you guys want to see us move next. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my coin market cap here, and we're going to do a little pulse of the market. Let's take a quick look at the top 10 here, guys. Bitcoin. Oh, and by the way, guys, we obviously, did something different for the first 15 minutes or so of the show. So hit that like button. It's going to help the engagement in this video. I want to make sure this video gets as many views as possible, not for our sake, because I want as many eyes on the conversation that we just had with Joel as possible. And we might even clip out that conversation and upload it as a separate video on the YouTube channel. So be looking out for something like that if we decide to do that. But as far as Bitcoin is concerned, it's down 2.5% over the last 24 hours, down 15% in the last 7 days. A lot of people are very concerned about that. A lot of people getting kind of freaked out, saying like, hey, look, Bitcoin's down. What do I do? I'm kind of freaking out, My portfolio's down. Guys, look, I get it. My portfolio, whenever we move 10%, I move 6 figures in like the value of my portfolio. Like, there's a big movement that happens there, so I get that. But the thing you have to realize is that you don't lose until you sell, and you don't actually make money until you sell either. So if you haven't sold in the last 7 days, your portfolio on paper may have changed, but did the amount of Bitcoin you have change? Probably not, so long as you were being wise and intelligent with your trades and following the principles and thought processes and philosophies that we teach here on the channel. But as far as the cryptocurrency market is concerned, everything in the top 10 is down, barring XRP, which is up 5%, and Terra is actually up almost 10% over the last 7 days. It is one of the few projects that has been actually excelling here over the last 7 days. I'm actually a big fan of Terra Luna, and I'm looking more into it. I'm thinking about investing in Luna, the native token. Terra Luna is a stablecoin project, and we're actually going to be getting into stablecoins a little bit later because they came up on the Capitol Hill discussion that we saw yesterday. So we're going to be talking about that a little bit later. As far as biggest losers and gainers over the last 24 hours, Gala is up 13%. So is Near Protocol. XRP is actually one of the biggest gainers at 5%. It's been a relatively uneventful 24 hours, but there have been some gainers. But also you can see some of the biggest losers right now are Matic, EOS. Matic has actually had a pretty solid week, but the last 24 hours have not been that great for it. It is down 15%. And the one thing I do want to mention here before we jump into our Bitcoin TA is that you guys got to realize volatility is what drives profitability in cryptocurrency, not the direction of the movement. Whether the market's moving up or down, you're going to make money if you long it or if you short it, if you know what you're doing. That's why we invest in you guys. That's why we try and invest in your education so much, is because if you know how to take advantage of these movements, then you don't need it to go up to make money. You don't need it to go down to make money. You just need it to move. So the boring thing in the market is when the thing that sucks in the market is when the market's not doing anything. I remember in the last quarter of 2018 when we were running the YouTube channel, I'll show you on the chart here, and then we'll use that to jump into our Bitcoin analysis here. Back in went way too far back. Back here in 2018, this period right here, back in Bitcoin's market, in between about the beginning of September 2018 and then about November 12th, 2018, this period right here when Bitcoin was trading sideways, okay, you got a reason to complain here. Nothing's going on. Bitcoin's trading sideways. We're in a 5% trading range for 90 days. You want to talk about boring? I'll tell you what's boring, trying to run a daily uploading YouTube channel, and there is literally nothing happening in the entire cryptocurrency market. Right now, yeah, Bitcoin's Bitcoin's going down, but guess what? There's a direction to the movement. So you actually have something to do. You have a trade that you can make. You can say, okay, I'm gonna buy the dip, or I'm gonna short the market. Like, there is opportunity in this space right now, guys. And I just wanna make sure you don't walk away from this video thinking, come on, Bitcoin's boring right now. I'm just gonna, I'm gonna pack my bags and leave. No, Bitcoin is down 28% in 30 days. That's a 1% movement a day. If you captured all that, you'd be making a percentage a day. That's 400% a year almost. You're not gonna find that anywhere else. You're not gonna find it in stocks and bonds and precious metals or bonds or anything. And that is the least volatile cryptocurrency out there right now. You got Ethereum doing all kinds of things, Matic doing all kinds of things. So I just want to lay the foundation here and say, yes, there's a lot of opportunity in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency right now, and we're going to try and find some of that in this show. So let's go ahead and jump into our traditional technical analysis over here on Bitcoin. First thing I want to do is lay a bit of a foundation as far as where we are right now. As you guys know, there was an uptrending level of support right here on Bitcoin that had been in play ever since July the 20th. We also had a touch here right around the end of September of this year. We broke bearish below that, and we pulled back down about a week ago down to this longer-term uptrending level of support that has been in play ever since March of 2020. And even before we go any farther, I want to ask Tim's opinion. Tim, do you think that we're going to end up breaking that long-term uptrending level of support and going down to like $40,000, or do you think we're going to be able to hold that as the bottom end?
Yeah, so this is all throughout while Joel was speaking, I'm reading comments. Some people are like, oh no, like, this is great and all, but Bitcoin's crashing right now. Bitcoin's not crashing. It's going down. There's that rising level of support that we're not even touching right now. We're close to touching it, but we're sitting right in a very healthy zone. If anything, it's a great spot to bounce and rally. I'm looking, while they were doing that, I was looking at the 15-minute chart, getting a little smaller. I rarely look at this chart, but for those of you who are looking at that chart, we are setting up pretty nicely to potentially be setting up bullish RSI divergence on the 15-minute chart. We need to see some things close because, again, it's all about where things close, not about where things are currently
Oh, yeah,
sitting.
Let me show that on the chart. We are setting up bullish RSI divergence down on 15-minute. How about that?
But I just think I understand why people are looking at the price dropping and getting concerned, but I'm just letting you guys know there's not enough here for us to be concerned. If we drop below that support and start closing a bunch of candles below it, then it's time to say, oh, no, are we needing to go down to 45,000, 42,000 again? Who knows? But nothing I see on this chart is screaming to me that we're in a danger zone.
You know what is screaming at me a little bit, guys? If you look out to the daily chart on Bitcoin, we are sure we're in a downtrend. But here's the two things that jump out at me out here actually three things that jump out at me out here on the daily chart. Number one, we're in a falling wedge. What do falling wedges do? All my CT2A alumni should be immediately saying they break bullish 70% of the time. I have drilled that into your head. If you don't know that by now, then you should probably sign up for CT2A. The link's in the description box down below. First and foremost, this falling wedge is likely to break to the upside. Why? Because they do 70% of the time. You can see all these examples back over here where falling wedges break to the upside, and they almost always do. So we are going to more than likely have a movement to the upside in the next month. I don't know exactly when it's going to be. I can't tell you the exact bottom. We're still trying to hone in on that. Bitcoin is still establishing market structure down here. But at the end of the day, we are going to see a movement to the upside at some point. What goes down must come up in crypto unless the project fails. Bitcoin has not failed. It's stronger than it ever has been before, and we're going to get into reasons why that's the case in a minute. God, I love being able to talk at full speed again. Yeah. I love it. I was just thinking about how my throat's clearing up. I still I have to start every single day, just spend 15 minutes coughing. But, I'm getting there. We're not doing coughing in crypto anymore. I love that name. That's what we need to do whenever we get sick. But it's not just this downtrending, this falling wedge, guys, that's important right here. We also have these two trend lines right here that are giving us support. And these are very powerful. Why? Whenever you look at a trend line, one of the things that's going to tell you the strength of that trend line is the duration for which it has been in effect. So this first trend line, this downtrending level of support, has been in effect ever since tax day earlier this year, which is my least favorite day of the year, April 15th, 2021. It's been in effect for, 6, 7, 8 months, something like that. And then we also have this longer-term uptrending level of support that's been in play ever since March. Not of this year, of last year, for the last 18 months. So these are very powerful support levels that Bitcoin is contending with. But there's actually a third reason to be excited on the daily chart. And that is that we're basically looking at a massive ascending triangle pattern right now. Now, I get the argument that we could be looking at a rising wedge because technically there's a higher high up here on the daily chart. I'm going to call it an ascending triangle pattern. Maybe I'm biased, but to be honest with you, I don't think Bitcoin's going to have this giant crash down to like $15,000 or something. I think Bitcoin is going to bounce somewhere in the 40,000s, and then we're going to rally and we're going to have a good time. So that's what I'm seeing on the macro scale. But let's zoom in here a little bit more. Looking at the Bollinger Bands, we're going to notice something very important on Bitcoin, and that is that we are testing the bottom of them. And this is going to be a theme over the next couple of minutes as we do Bitcoin TA. There are a lot of reasons to believe that the Bitcoin market right now is approaching a bottom. And one of the reasons is because we're sitting down here so low on the Bollinger Bands. We're below the center line, which means we're in a confirmed downtrend. And by the way, like I said earlier, when you're in a confirmed anything, that is good because it means you have the confidence to make a trade. At this point, I'd be careful about entering a short trade though, because I think we're close to the bottom. But the point is, we do know that we're in a downtrend. We confirmed that with Lux Algo almost 3 weeks ago. If you've been watching this channel, you would have known that this kind of stuff was coming. Now, what I do want to see is I want to see Bitcoin have some kind of bottom here, and I want to see it jump back up above the 20 daily simple moving average. And if it's able to do that, then we will be moving into a confirmed uptrend. Now, also looking down here at the MACD, you can see MACD looks like it's trying to put a bottom in. Now, we've done this a couple times before in recent memory. We're doing it again. But the fact is, if Bitcoin is able to put some kind of medium-term rally in, start moving to the upside up to like $52,000, $53,000, then we're probably going to see a bullish MACD cross. Hasn't happened yet. Doesn't look like it's going to happen in the next 3 days. But whenever it does, it is going to be one of the lowest bullish MACD crosses that we've ever seen in the history of Bitcoin. In fact, it will only be lower. It'll only be the only one that will be lower than it was the bullish MACD cross that we saw back here at the end of May of this year. The reason that that's good is because the further to the downside that you cross bullish, the more momentum that you have. It's a bit like, I was about to use an exercise analogy, but I don't think hardly anybody's going to get that. It's a bit like, you know, taking a rubber ball and throwing it into a trampoline. Like, the harder you throw that rubber ball into the trampoline, the harder it's going to bounce because you put more power into it, right? But whenever it goes into that trampoline, the trampoline caves in a little bit and then shoots it back up. That's kind of what we're looking at right now with the MACD. We're getting very low on that MACD. Right now, we're down here on the trampoline, and then boom, we're about to shoot back up. We just got to wait for that potential energy to turn around into kinetic energy and start pushing the market to the upside. And that's going to happen at some point in the near-term future, along with all of the amazing fundamental developments that we've seen happen over the last couple of weeks. We're going to be talking about all of those here in just a moment. But another thing I want to mention to you here on the traditional TA is the fact that RSI is sitting down here around 32. We are at some of the lowest levels on RSI that we've seen in a long time. We're looking at the last 2 years of RSI data right here. You can see the RSI has only gotten this low a handful of times. Once was back over here, and it happened twice, back in April and May of 2021. And before that, the last time we saw RSI this low was back in March of 2020. What does that tell us? Well, number one, it tells us that we're very close to a bottom, because the last 2 times that we saw RSI go back this low, we saw a major rally that followed. But also it tells us that we're seeing a correction, the likes of which we haven't seen in a while. And whenever you see that happen, generally there's going to be a long period of uptrending. Take a note of this here. The last time we saw RSI push back this low, we rallied for 3 or 4 months. Before that, the only other time in the last 2 years that we went this low on RSI was back during March of 2020. We rallied for a year straight. So I just want to encourage you guys that if you're worried about the Bitcoin rally right now, just get excited, because we're actually looking at the bottom. And I do think we're getting pretty close to it. Again, I can't tell you exactly where it is. I don't know if it's at $46,000, $44,000, or $50,000. I mean, it's not at $50,000 because we're below $50,000. But no matter where it is, the point is it's close. One final thing I'll mention here is down on the 4-hourly chart, we are in a bit of a falling wedge. But depending on how you draw it, you could also say it's a symmetrical triangle pattern. There is the point is down here, Bitcoin is in a very short-term downtrend. Even down here on the hourly chart, you can see that. And we are attempting to break the support line. If it happens, guys, look, there's other support beneath us down around 46, 47,000. Don't be getting freaked out saying, oh my gosh, I should short the market. You kind of missed that boat. If you were going to short the market, you probably wanted to do that 3 weeks ago. But at this point, I would be looking for entry positions. And if I wasn't already so exposed to cryptocurrency, I would be looking for entry positions and buying in more down here. And to be honest with you, I might even buy more than I already have. I might even go buy like some Cardano or something, because Cardano is down here at $1.34, which is a great buying opportunity, guys. I remember 2 months ago, everybody was saying, oh my gosh, the market's so high right now. Whenever it drops, I'm going to buy back in. Well, ding, 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 you got your chance, right? How many times did you see that happen, Tim? How many times did you see somebody say, oh, well, if only Bitcoin was trading at $50,000 and I would buy some, and now it's at $50,000, and where is that? You know, hopefully those people aren't here because they're buying Bitcoin, but, you know.
Yeah, that happens quite frequently.
Yeah, that's how it is. And look, we're susceptible to that too. We're only human, guys. That's just the way it is. We can get freaked out easily, and that's why this channel, I hope, is valuable to you, because it's our goal to make sure that you guys are not getting freaked out by drops like this, and that you're looking for opportunities, because there's an opportunity behind every corner. All you got to do is look for them. Now, taking a look out here at the weekly chart market cipher, I want to show you some interesting things. Weekly chart market cipher is actually pretty bearish. The reason that this is important is because weekly chart market cipher is, it's pushing to the downside quite a bit here. And that does mean that, yeah, we're bearish, but at the same time, it means that eventually that reversal is going to come. We've been bearish on weekly chart market cipher for the last 3 weeks or so, but I do also want to point out here that we're getting very close to the bottom of money flow that we've seen relatively recently. On top of that, we're also seeing that the momentum, which are these blue lines, are pushing down to the same levels that they reversed at previously. So both of those factors, the fact that we're sitting down here at the bottom of money flow, which is this line right here, that could give us support, and the momentum's pushed low enough that I'm thinking, okay, we're probably going to see a reversal at some point pretty soon. That's on the weekly chart for Bitcoin US dollars. Now, the daily chart paints the exact opposite picture. The daily chart on Market Cipher paints a picture of, all right, we've had a drop, but we're kind of getting close to the bottom. And that's where I think we are. We may be about to see a green dot show up here on the 2-daily chart. And we're also looking at money flow drop quite a bit here, but it's probably going to bottom out here around the 0 level, as we've seen happen in recent memory. But the point is here, no matter where the bottom is, we've already seen the majority of the drop. I personally think, and Tim, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. I think that the majority of the drop that we are going to see, we have already seen. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. No, and that's, we talked about on the show yesterday that, I have learned from many mistakes that when I look at things too closely in terms of small, what did I see over the last couple of days and what did I see, what am I hoping for the next couple of days? If you hold yourself in that tunnel of vision, you will constantly miss the boat when it's time to buy, and you'll constantly miss the peaks when it's time to sell. You've got to zoom out and you got to look at things from a big perspective. You got to look at not only the TA, you got to look at what's happening in the news. You got to look at the on-chain metrics and all of these things we've been talking about for a long, long time now. Maybe we will go down to, 46. Maybe it goes down to 42. In the grand scheme of things, 42 is not that low. No. I know it sounds low because we were just touching 69 3 weeks ago. But in the grand scheme of things, when we're talking about the future of Bitcoin's price, last year, this time, it was sitting
21. I remember because I got my family into Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin and Ethereum a year ago. They bought at 21.
If you think in time spans of hours and days, you're probably tunnel visioned and you're probably going to end up not being happy. When you start allowing yourself to look at months and years is when you're going to be like, this is actually looking really great.
Yeah, well, it's like a horse in a horse race, guys. They put the blinders on the horse so it focuses on what the jockey wants it to focus on, and it's like you're being controlled when you have those blinders on. That's the whole point, is to control the horse. Don't be controlled by having those blinders on. They want you to have those blinders on. They want you to focus on what's happening in the last 2 days because they don't want you to realize the things that we're about to talk about, like how Bitcoin's hash rate just hit a new all-time high. You know how important that is? Because Bitcoin's hash rate got cut in half 6 months ago when China banned Bitcoin. That's huge. That is massive. We're going to talk about that here in a little bit, but we still have some more Bitcoin TA to jump into. One of the things I want to mention here on the daily chart is that Bitcoin's market cipher does actually look like a bottom is coming in. Why? Well, there is a green dot that's shown up down here on this bottom area. The last time we saw that happen was a double green dot back over here on July 20th. That date sounds familiar. It is, because that's the bottom. Whenever we see a green dot happen like that, it means the bottom is either in or the bottom is close. Now, one of the times we saw a green dot was right over here. We were very close to the bottom. We pulled back down to about $33,000, but the bottom wasn't in yet. We had a little bit more room to go. I think what we're going to see happen in this market, our current market, is actually going to look relatively similar to what we saw happen back in May and June and July. We're going to see Bitcoin trade sideways for a little bit, move to the downside a little bit, and consolidate, but then eventually something's going to happen, and it's going to kick us off, and we're going to have a catalyst, and we're going to go back to all-time high, and it's going to be great. And we're all going to sing Kumbaya, and we're going to pop champagne corks on the beach. No, we're probably not going to do that, but the point is Bitcoin is going to be very excited, and the market is going to rally, and we're all going to be excited, and, it's going to be a great time. So don't get freaked out just because of what's happening today. We've probably only made that point about 23 and a half times today. So let's go ahead and look at Lux Algo. There's a lot of very important things to show you here on Lux Algo. The algo right now is saying that we're in a confirmed downtrend. We've been in a confirmed downtrend ever since the 17th of November. I told you guys that we were entering a confirmed downtrend when that happened. How do we call that a confirmed downtrend? Well, we look for a red cross here on the Lux oscillator, which is what this is right here. We look for a buy or a sell signal, and we look for this middle line right here, which is called the trend catcher, all of them to agree. So a red sell signal, trend catcher turning red and moving to the downside, and Lux Oscillator turning red. All three of those come together and they confirm each other, and that's how we know we're in a confirmed downtrend. We have not entered a confirmed uptrend just yet, and it doesn't look like we're going to for a while. But what Lux Algo has told us is that we've put in a red X right here. Now, if you are not using this already, go into Lux Algo Premium. And by the way, I believe there's a new update. I need to come out. I need to close this out and update this. But if you go into signal mode right here, go to confirmation and change it to confirmations plus exits, and you'll see these little red X's. This little X right here basically tells us it can act as an early warning sign that there is that there is a reversal coming, but it isn't there yet. Basically, it's saying get out of your trade. If you were using Lux Algo, then you would have potentially entered a short trade up here with this confirmed downtrend, and then this red X is saying, okay, exit your trade. If you had followed Lux Algo as soon as you got that confirmed signal, which the actual exact date of the confirmation was on the 17th of November, and you exited down here, you would have gone down 17% in 21 days, and you would have traded the majority of that market. It's not telling us that the bottom's in, but it is telling us that the majority of the downtrend is over. Those are two different things, but it's very important that you know it. Now, another thing to mention here on Lux Algo is that we're currently sitting right here above the bottom of the reversal zones. We actually haven't seen the Bitcoin touch the bottom of the reversal zones, the bottom reversal zone, in a very long time. The last time we did was back over here in May, and what did we see happen? Well, Bitcoin traded sideways for a while, but it basically had found the bottom. I think that Bitcoin has more or less found the bottom right now, and we may end up doing this number, or this number, or this number, or this number, but I think we're going to do one of these numbers, and then we're going to have a big rally form, probably in January at this point. I think we're probably going to be continuing to trade sideways through the rest of this month at this point, but that gives you time to accumulate. And by the way, the whales are very much accumulating right now. And one of the reasons why I think that we're going to continue to see that sideways movement has to do with the EQ cloud here in the middle of Lux Algo. You can see that there has been a bearish cross right here. That basically tells us that momentum has shifted in the direction of the bears. We need to get back up above this EQ cloud, which means we really need to get up to like $60,000 before Bitcoin re-enters a new confirmed uptrend. But the longer we spend down here, the longer this EQ cloud is going to push to the downside, which is going to make it easier to get back up above it in the future whenever we do. Now, we're about to move into some of our Ethereum technical analysis. But before we do, Tim, how many likes do we have on the video, and how many people are watching?
We had 2,600 people watching, 700
Awesome.
likes. We can get to 1,000 here literally probably in the next 3 minutes.
Come on,
easily.
yeah. Smash those likes, guys. It really helps to support the channel whenever you do that. And the reason that it does is because YouTube values something called engagement. So anytime you leave a comment, or anytime you leave a chat, or anytime you like the video, or anything like that, that's called engagement, and that's how YouTube promotes the video. So if you think that this video is a video that more people should see, if you're getting value out of this, someone else might, hitting that like button helps get the word out. But let's go ahead and get to the word of Ethereum. I don't know. I'm all about these dad joke transitions lately. That's kind of becoming my thing. I don't know. We'll see if that continues. But let's go ahead and take a look over here at Ethereum, because Ethereum's in an interesting position. An interesting position. It's in a similar position to Bitcoin, but it's also not. Let me explain to you what I mean. Ethereum has very similar market structure to Bitcoin right now. It's got a longer-term, shorter-term uptrending level of support right here that it broke below. That is reminiscent back to Bitcoin, where we have this shorter-term uptrending level of support that we broke below. But then over on Ethereum, it also has a longer-term uptrending level of support that we are attempting to hold. Very similar to what we saw happen on Bitcoin. And I think that we're going to see something similar happen to Ethereum that's happened to Bitcoin. I think we're going to see some downwards movement, some sideways movement, and we're going to see Ethereum kind of consolidate here. But the interesting thing about ETH is that ETH is actually managing to have a rally while Bitcoin is not. It's actually been rallying ever since the 3rd of December. It's been generally pushing to the upside. We even pushed all the way back up to our previous all-time high that we set earlier this year at $4,400. And that's really exciting for anybody who's in Ethereum, because you're thinking like, okay, Ethereum is able to maintain its base even more than Bitcoin. And the reason that that's important is because it speaks to the development of the Ethereum ecosystem. Yes, Ethereum fees are ridiculous, and it takes like $1,000 to send 10. I get that. But Ethereum has a massive amount of development going on top of it. It's got a lot of layer 2 protocols being built on top of it, like a lot of these DEXs, a lot of these NFTs, a lot of different things are being built on top of Ethereum. Ethereum is the layer 1 protocol that almost all of the major layer 2s are built on top of right now. And this is just another example of how fundamental development leads to development in the charts. Not something you can see in the day, but if you look over the span of years, you will see it. What are we seeing happen right now? Bitcoin's having a bigger drop than Ethereum. Why? Because Bitcoin basically does the exact same thing today that it did a year ago. Ethereum doesn't. Ethereum does a whole hell of a lot more today than it did a year ago, and it's managing to maintain its movement even more. Tim, how big of an impact do you think Ethereum's fundamental development is having on the price of Ethereum, and do you think that it's actually going to continue outperforming Bitcoin over the next 12 months?
Well, I do. We talked about this on the show yesterday. I do think Ethereum's making a lot of gains. A lot of big things are happening there. Obviously, Ethereum is the king of altcoins right now. The one thing I will say, and I've been seeing a lot of comments talk about this, because I don't, just so you guys know, I don't do anything that requires me ever to pay gas fees on Ethereum. However, I've been reading articles, I've been looking at comments, not only on this channel, but on other channels, that the gas fees, once again on Ethereum, are starting to get kind of ridiculous. So what I'm looking at over the next little bit, aside from just a TA, because I think we talked about yesterday, Ethereum is kind of getting to a place where, and I said this, it needs to break through that level of resistance to have a nice rally, and it definitely could. But if things like gas fees get back involved and they start becoming frustrating and people are getting just ticked off with how Ethereum's going, that's going to be a bearish sentiment for Ethereum. And here's the other thing, we talked about this as well. What's going to fix that is when it finally launches Ethereum 2.0. But who knows when that's going to happen? Because it seems like every time we start seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, they back the tunnel up and it's darkness all over again. So I'm kind of in a place right now. Again, I have Ethereum holding. I love Ethereum. I still think we have a lot of things growing, but they need to, once again, I don't know what they need to do exactly, but they need to fix those gas prices, or the gas fees again.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, Ethereum is a great project, but sometimes you look at that light at the end of the tunnel and you're like, oh man, is that the blue sky out there, or is that a train coming for us? Because we kind of got to figure that out. There's a lot of good things on the horizon for Ethereum, but we kind of need them to happen, and we kind of need them to happen right now, because Ethereum has a $200 billion infrastructure, a $200 billion industry built on its back, and it has got to be able to support that if the cryptocurrency market's going to grow. There's a theory in business called the theory of constraints, which says wherever in your business is the area that is constraining and bottlenecking the rest of the business, focus on fixing that area, and then you'll free up the rest of the organization to succeed. Right now in the cryptocurrency sector, Ethereum is the bottleneck. Its gas fees are the bottleneck that is stopping and stifling so much development in the cryptocurrency space. So we very much want to see ETH 2.0 come out. I think it is going to, but of course, if that is delayed too far, I'm talking several years, then something like a Solana could come in and sweep up all of that market dominance. We are really looking at kind of a battle between the Yahoo and the Google, or the AOL and the Gmail, or, Facebook and MySpace. That's kind of what we're looking at right now. Tim, you're a dinosaur. Did you have a MySpace?
That's true. I did have MySpace.
You did?
I did. And it was one of, I think it's a classic story of my mom didn't know I had a MySpace. So if my mom's watching now, I think I confessed that before. So she probably knows by now. But yeah, when I was like 12.
Confessed it. Is there something? I just kicked the huddle.
Oh, I definitely, if she had known at the time, I definitely would have been in a lot of trouble.
Really? What's wrong with a MySpace account? What kind of stuff was going on MySpace?
Listen, dude,
back in the day?
My mom was very restricting.
Okay.
I didn't have video games growing up. I played outside most of the time. MySpace, where you get to talk to who knows. Thank you.
Oh, that's
where you can talk to anyone and everywhere as a 12-year-old. Yeah, that would have been a no-go in the Warren household.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. Guys, tell us in chat if you had a MySpace, and also tell us in chat if you think Ethereum is going to go the way of MySpace, because that's kind of the point I'm making, guys. MySpace was revolutionary for the time, but then it got beat because it wasn't able to keep up, and it wasn't able to keep the public's attention. I don't think that's going to happen, just to be clear. I think Ethereum is going to remain top dog in the altcoin space, but at the same time, there is some competition going on right there. By the way, guys, we got a update here. MyR exchange for eGold is back up. eGold is still down 44%. Compared to its late November highs, so eGold isn't doing great. Any of you guys that are looking at eGold, MyR exchange is back up, so you'll be excited about that. T-Shroom gave me that note, and there's not any nepotism going on. It's not because you have
He's very happy about it.
He's very happy about it, I'm sure. Well, let's go ahead and move into a period here where we'll look at some super chats. We got a bunch of super chats.
Yes.
Thank you guys for those donations. Like we said, all the super chats will be going to Joel's ministry today.
You need to get your fingers off those buttons.
What'd he do?
He's touching the cry thing over.
Oh my gosh. Why did we ever give this man a soundboard?
Oh my gosh. All right. Hey, the first super chat, because I want to get in here and get as many of these answers as possible. The first super chat is really big because I've seen a lot of comments in chat also asking about this. But Justin Pokerant said it's 2 words. Evergrande defaulted.
Yep.
And a lot of people in chat have been asking, and what are our thoughts on that? What's happening there? So, what? Good. Yeah.
Good. It's over. Yeah. No. Here's the deal with Evergrande, guys. So this is actually breaking news, like literally right now. So this is something we're going to have to look at over the rest of the day. T-Shirm, you can even be looking at that right now if you want to, just to kind of get the update. There's some update coming out from CNN. Looks like they're... I don't want to say they are defaulting because I haven't actually verified that myself, but the thing about Evergrande and the thing you got to realize about the Chinese stock market and the Chinese housing market especially is it's a massive house of cards. The Chinese people don't really have anywhere that they can invest and make the kind of money that we can in the free world. The stock market is heavily regulated. It's very much driven by nepotism. And it's very difficult to make money in the Chinese stock market, and it's very volatile. You can't invest in cryptocurrencies. It's very hard to start your own business without the government's backing. So it's kind of difficult to make any money for yourself in the Chinese economy. So what a lot of people do is that they invest in real estate. And what that's led to is the vast majority of private investment is going into real estate. Not the vast majority, but the vast plurality. I want to say it's around 42% is going into real estate, where in the first world it'd normally be around 15, 20%, where people are also investing in the stock market, or they're investing in precious metals, or they're investing in crypto. And there's a diversified investment account going on for the whole nation. In the Chinese economy, the vast majority of people, the only place that they can really try and make money is in the real estate game. So everybody's over there playing the real estate game, and you got people with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 houses. The problem is China has a lot of people, but they got a lot more houses than they can even fit everybody in. The housing market in China is a massive bubble, and it is going to pop at some point, and it is going to cause a massive hindrance to the Chinese economy, and we are going to feel ramifications around the world because of that. I don't know if it's happening right now because of Evergrande. I kind of think it's not, but eventually that is going to catch up with them. When you build your economy on a house of cards like China has, you're going to run into trouble. And China does have a reckoning coming, and they are going to have to figure out how to deal with it, and we're going to feel those effects.
All right. We'll keep moving on from there. We got one from Tony LaRusso saying, Jebb, love your channel. I don't have a lot of money, but I would like to see the correlation between the USDT chart and the Bitcoin. It looks very bearish.
USDT chart and Bitcoin? Isn't that
USDT.D chart. I mean, I'm just reading.
USDT.D Bitcoin. I'm not sure what he's getting at.
I would imagine.
Feel free to re-ask that question and rephrase that. I want to help to answer that, but I'm not sure what you mean.
I'm reading to make sure. I mean, the correlation between the USDT chart and Bitcoin. It looks very. I don't know. All right.
I don't know.
Fidel. Oh my gosh, Fidel. I'm just saying Fidel. The last name. I've messed up this man's name so many times.
Do it. Do it. Come on, Tim.
Do it.
Do it. Do it. Do it.
Vaqueriza.
Vaqueriza.
I don't know. I don't know.
Vaqueriza.
Right.
It's not
Several
hard.
alts, for example, Aave, Uni, are down more than 70% of their all-time high.
Yep.
It does seem we are entering some kind of bear market, question mark?
We're not entering a bear market, or at least we don't have confirmation of that yet. The thing you got to realize, guys, is that there was a lot of hype that was inflating the bubble over the last 6 months. I wouldn't say crypto is in a bubble, but there was a lot of hype that was keeping the market propped up, and it wasn't so much built on fundamentals. It was built on meme coins. It was built on people getting hyped up about, PancakeSwap or Aave or some of these projects, and they got $25 billion market capitalization. It's like, yeah, they're great projects, but when was the last time you watched a company go from $0 to $25 billion in market capitalization in 12 months when they have a relatively simple technology? It is rare. There's a lot of money in the crypto space that, quite frankly, shouldn't be here. So, yeah, they're going to see big drops. I'm not even saying they're bad projects, but I am saying that there are a lot of projects in crypto that are overvalued, and as they have a correction, it's actually leading to a fundamentally stronger market than we had before. So I'm not worried about that. No, I don't think we're entering a bear market. I think it's actually a healthy correction and consolidation.
Yeah. Johnny Tavares. One of those two pronunciations. I was the first tow truck driver into crypto. Soldier Boy voice. TA on Crow. Jebb, you sound way better.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah.
We did some Crow TA yesterday.
Did you? What did it look like? Give us the rundown, Tim. What was Crow looking like?
The truth is, I did the TA because it was a 2-minute technical, but let me look at my notes real quick.
I'll look at Crow real quick while he's looking at his notes. It's going to rain. Tell me where that quote's from. It's going down is what it's doing. It went to about $1. It's down to 58 cents. Here's the thing with Crow, guys. I've done some research on Crow. Let me preface with, I think Crypto.com is a fantastic exchange. I was actually talking to another CEO of a local company here in town that is actually using Crypto.com to get himself into crypto. I'm like, boom, awesome. I love it. As far as I can tell, Crypto.com seems like a great service. I don't personally use it. Crow, the cryptocurrency Crow, is basically a massive move by Crypto.com to build its own cryptocurrency to make money. So Crow, I don't know of a lot of utility that the project actually has. The reason that it has value is because of the Crypto.com name behind it. So yeah.
At the moment, so it is flirting with, about to break out of a symmetrical triangle pattern. Also, that's one way. It's also in a descending trading channel. So that's what we were talking about yesterday. Now I see my notes. I actually think I told them to hold, to wait. It's not confirmed yet when to do it. Which actually, I'm looking at Coinbase. This is a different chart. I think this might be a bull flag that I told them, if they're thinking that they haven't got in yet and they want to buy, to wait for about 80 cents. That's the wisdom that I've seen a lot of traders use when in a descending trading channel, is they wait for it to break up to a strong level of previous in the channel. So if you go back here to the 27th of November, the peak of the trading channel at that point was 80 cents. So that's why I'm saying I want to see it get back to that level before I'd be confident buying in. But I do think this is a bull flag forming, so I would not be surprised to see it go up.
I got a quote here from, let's see if I can pronounce this name, Holger Zjespitz, I think that's it. Evergrande declared in default as huge restructuring looms. Fitch cut Evergrande to restricted default over its failure to make 2 coupon payments by the end of grace period on Monday, a move that may trigger cross defaults on the developer's almost $20 billion worth of debt. So we'll keep you guys up to date on that, and we will be doing some more research on that. But let's continue reading super chats here. We can go for another 5 minutes or so, and then guys, we're going to be talking about the Bitcoin hash rate, because it hit a new all-time high, which is a big deal for any of you guys who were here in May when China stopped crypto mining in their nation. We're also going to be talking about the congressional hearings and a $1.1 billion options expiry coming up on Friday.
Mark Joe 159 said, YouTubers keep talking about manipulation. Who is to say whales won't keep Bitcoin within a certain range and prevent a blow off top from happening?
They could.
That doesn't make sense for them, though, to not make money.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
They want it to have a blow off top.
Yeah, I'm not sure why they would do that, but
especially if they can choose that point and they can all take profit right there. They dream about those situations.
Right. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. All right, we'll keep moving on. No, come on, wrong button. Operation Exposed. Haven't been through a bear market. Do prices generally hit a bottom, in quotation marks, and average out, or do they tend to keep decreasing? Shorter bear market, perhaps? Question mark.
I think we will see a shorter bear market than what we saw in the last 2018. I was here during 2018. I made a video every single day throughout 2018, 7 days a week, and it got very boring. Like that's the main thing that I can say about a bear market. It wasn't scary. It was boring. That's pretty much what it was. You'd see a rally and you're like, oh, okay, maybe we're getting out of it. No, that didn't. Well, okay, we got a new rally. Maybe no, we're not. And a lot of times what you just have to see is that it just has to go through extreme boredom. Like there's got to be so much boredom. You got to let the balloon completely deflate before you can start filling it back up again. And, I think that we're going to see that happen, but I don't think it's going to be, 18 months like it was last time. I think it'd probably be 6 to 12 months in this case. And I don't think it's something that you should be scared of. I think it's actually a good opportunity to not be so involved in crypto for a little while, do some dollar cost averaging, get some good buys, and then, just go into hibernation and come back in a couple years when Bitcoin's pushing $1 million, and you'll be glad that that happened.
Yeah, we'll do one more and then we'll jump back into the show. Ben Billett, I don't even know what project he's talking about. He didn't say the project, but I definitely hope he's not talking about Bitcoin. Ben Billett said, "What's the best play right now? Is it to sell and buy back in at the dip, or hodl?"
So that's going to depend on your own philosophy, and that's one of the things I teach you guys is that it's very important to have a philosophy in your trading. Are you a long-term hodler, or are you a trader? Or are you doing both with 2 different portfolios? There's nothing wrong with all 3 of those are very valid strategies. But if you're a hodler like I am, like I don't do a whole lot of day trading anymore. Like people ask me, Jebb, how many trades a day do you make? Generally 0, because I'm a hodler and I do swing trades and I say, okay, I'm gonna go put 20 grand in this and I'm gonna let it grow. That's what I do. I used to trade pretty much every day. I don't really do that a whole lot anymore. That's just not the way that I work anymore because, I got a business to run. I can't be sitting here trading 6 hours a day. I got to make this content for you guys. And it takes a lot of work. So my philosophy is one of buy the dips and hodl. What is your philosophy? If your philosophy is buy the dips and hodl, then yeah, buy the dips and hodl. If your philosophy is short the market, great. But to be honest with you, I think it's a very bad idea to short this market right now because, quite frankly, you've already missed your boat. If you're going to short the market, you should have done it 3 weeks ago when we said, hey, look, Lux Algo just said we went into a confirmed downtrend. We're probably going to go into a couple weeks of downtrending. And if you're going to enter a short, that would have been the time to do it. At this point, I think you've missed the boat. I think you should be looking for buying opportunities, not for selling opportunities, because as we always say, you want to get a good deal. What are you getting a good deal on right now? You're getting a good deal by buying. How do you know that? RSI is at 32 on the daily chart for Bitcoin. That's how you know that. You don't want to be looking to sell right now, in my opinion. That is not financial advice. What's your answer to that, though, Tim?
Again, if it depends on what project he's talking about, because there are some. I think somebody pointed in the chat. I don't want to use this to say I was right. I was just doing TA on it. Matic yesterday, I don't look at Matic that often, but I was looking at the chart, and I was like, guys, we're at the top. We're in an ascending wedge, and it looks like we're at the top. This looks like it needs to come back down, and sure enough, today it's starting to come back down. So coins like that, yeah, it's sitting at a great spot to take some profit, wait for it to come back down, and then get back in. But there's a lot of projects that are at the bottom of ascending wedges. As a whole, I think someone commented on this, a lot of the market right now is in some form of an ascending wedge.
Yeah.
The difference is some of them are at the top of their ascending wedges, some of them are at the bottom of their ascending wedges. Bitcoin is one of those that is at the bottom. Ethereum is one that's kind of hovering in the middle.
Yeah, right. That's a good point, yeah.
So that's you gotta read the chart. You gotta pay attention to news. You gotta look at the on-chain metrics. Some of those little altcoins are really, really hard to keep up with what's happening fundamentally. So look at the charts. You got to make the best decision for yourself, and you got to learn to live with it. That's one of the reasons why Jebb says he's so strong about setting up stop losses, because in the off chance that you did read it wrong and you bought at the wrong time, don't lose all your money. If you trade with 100, don't lose $50. Set up your stop loss. What's your percentage you usually say that people should have?
Percentage of what again?
If someone's setting up a stop loss, what's the minimum or what's the most that they should end up losing?
I don't think you should ever be in a position to lose more than 20% of your trade.
So be okay with, man, I made a mistake. I'm going to lose $20. Don't be so prideful and say, I'm going to ride this out and then lose
and then get liquidated.
$60, $70.
And then get liquidated. Yeah. Your ego is the big, let me make this very clear. Your ego is the enemy in cryptocurrency. Like in the business world, it's like, yeah, your ego could actually help you sometime because it'll give you like, pride and stuff. And yeah, you'll have problems, interacting with people. But sometimes it can it's not a good thing, but it can help you. It is not going to help you at all in trading. You're just going to get wrecked if you let your ego control you. And Tiberius Gracchus, which shout out to that name, that was a politician in Rome that helped the poor. Great name. He said, these guys do their best to help you educate yourself, not make your decisions for you. Do your own research and learn how to. Fantastic. Completely agree with that. That is exactly what we're out to do. Now, let's go ahead and jump over here onto my screen. I'm going to show you a very interesting chart. This is called the total hash rate for Bitcoin. As you can see, total hash rate on Bitcoin was sitting all the way up here around 180 million terahash, and it dropped and it got cut in half down to 90. We talked about this 6 months ago. This was a result of Chinese mining being banned. China actually controlled almost 60% of the market dominance for mining in Bitcoin, and we have now gone all the way back up, and we're approaching that all-time high level, and we're only 3% shy of that 180 exahash area that we saw recently. In fact, just in the last several weeks, just in the last week or two, actually, we've seen a big jump in hash rate, and that is leading to a lot of bullish fundamentals on the rest of the on-chain metrics. So, Tim, let me ask you this. What is the impact of the hash rate of Bitcoin on the Bitcoin price? Why is this a metric that we pay so close attention to?
The hash rate?
Yes.
This is a part of the thing that I don't know. I remember back when hash rate was a really big deal. Back when I think it was dropping due to the not economic.
It was China.
The environmental stuff.
Yeah.
The environmental stuff. It had to do with there's just less miners, actually able to function. At the end of the day, when you read the on-chain metrics, you're just finding that a lot of times the price, and this is the great debate, does the price follow the hash rate or does the hash rate follow the price? But either way, we tend to see them go together.
Yeah.
So whoever is first, I don't know which one's the horse, which one's the cart. That part I don't know yet. I'm sure someone out there in the audience does. You guys are smarter than me.
I would say it's both, to be honest with you.
But that's the great debate. I remember we talked about that.
Yeah, it is.
Lots of people saying no, price follows hash rate. Other people saying no, hash rate follows price. At the end of the day, whichever one leads, they go together.
They move together,
So it is very significant to watch because one way or another, we're going to see a correlation between the two of them.
Yeah, absolutely. And guys, here's the deal: whether or not you think that the hash rate leads the price or the price leads the hash rate, I'm personally of the opinion that they're two oxen pulling a cart, and they're both moving together. And then when one pulls ahead, then the other one has to catch up. And then when that one pulls ahead, the other one has to catch up. And whatever you look at that as, the fact is there is a very significant historical correlation between hash rate and price action. The hash rate is about to hit a new all-time high. Bitcoin just recently hit a new all-time high, and I think that hash rate is going to continue to improve as more and more of these Chinese miners come online in nations like Kazakhstan and El Salvador and Canada. I almost said China. In Canada and the United States of America, there's a lot of mining coming online, and that's a very bullish thing. Now, let's go ahead and take a look here at this. $1.1 billion in Bitcoin options expire on Friday, but data points to sub $55,000 Bitcoin price. We're going to go ahead and jump down here to this. I love when Cointelegraph does this. They've been doing this for the last several months on this story. You can see between $47,000 and $50,000, 400 calls versus 6,600 puts. The net result is $300 million favoring the bear instruments, the puts. If we were to end between $50,000 and $54,000, the net result is $160 million favoring the bearish instruments. So what we're seeing happen here is basically the options market is seeing the bears are about to make a lot of money. I mean, almost certainly. And basically the way this works, guys, is a put and a call is they're options contracts that basically allow you to the option to buy a contract at buy an asset or a commodity, a derivative or whatever at a certain price, but you don't have to. And then if you don't do that, then the other party gets the money. So if Bitcoin closes down here around around $47,000 to $50,000, the bears are about to make $300 million. And if they make $300 million, you know what they're going to do? They're probably going to short the market because they just made money by shorting the market. So, Tim, let me ask you this. What significance is there in these options contracts? Why do we look at these so much? And what do you think the bears would do with $300 million worth of gains made from this?
They'll do bearish things. I don't
do bearish things? Yeah, fair enough.
They might win this one. But I love when we go back and we're like, okay, this is going to be a closing. And the bulls are going to win this. So we're going to see massive bullet. And then, the bears are going to... Wait till next week. We're going to have another close. And then the week after, we're going to have another close. The bears win this battle.
You win this one, bears.
But the war is not over.
Yeah.
And there's so much... The bears only have so much control. What the bears cannot do, they cannot get into your wallet. They cannot get into your cold storages. They cannot take anything away from you. Mm-hmm. So there's a certain level that no matter how much power the bears have, no matter what they're doing, the momentum they've built, they cannot make the price go below a certain level because they cannot take away from you what is yours.
Yep.
They can try to drive the price down. They can continue to try to, and really what it to me is speaking of, they can continue to suppress a spring. But what happens to springs when they get pressed down? They explode more powerful when they're finally released. So bears, go ahead, have this one. Take your win. But tomorrow, the next day, weeks from now, months from now, it's going to come back to bite you in the butt. And you got to realize at a certain point, things like Bitcoin, the whole reason it exists, this is, again, zoom out. Don't just look at what's happening right now. Don't look at what's happening tomorrow just because we're going to lose expiry. Why does Bitcoin exist? What is crypto here to do? It is a winning battle. It's a winning war to be on the bullish side. So bears, good luck to you, but you're going to lose the war in the long term.
Yep, absolutely right. A mentor of mine once told me there's two things you can't take away from a man: the food that he just ate and the knowledge he put in his brain. That's why we encourage you guys, one, to eat good food, but also two, to make sure that you are constantly investing in your education, because nobody can take that away from you. And they can theoretically hack your Coinbase. They could theoretically break into your house and steal your crypto. But you know what they can't take away from you? They can't take away from you the person that you became getting there. You know, that's one of the things that I'm so excited about with the business, is that you can take away the business from me. You can take away the channel from me. You can take away my team from me. You can do that if you want. You can come and, have an authoritarian government and do that. But what you can't take away from me is the man that I've become in the last 4 years when we built this channel. And that's what I have. Everything else is secondary to that. I have the lessons that I've learned, and that's what's important about you, is that when Bitcoin's dropping as it is right now, I'm going to look at that, they can't take away from you is the man or woman that you have become in the process. Never forget that. That's where the real value lies. Your net worth has nothing to do with dollars and cents and Satoshis. It has to do with the skill sets, the mindsets, and the testimony that you've built over the years that you've been working here. But let's take a look here at the Bitcoin chart, because obviously everybody in chat's like, Jebb, pay attention, like Bitcoin's dropping, oh my gosh. Okay, yes, over the last 30 minutes, Bitcoin has dropped from $49,400 down to $48,200. Jebb, are you worried? Are you scared? No, I'm not. You know why? Because the Bitcoin I bought 3 years ago, I bought at $2,000, or I bought at $5,000, $6,000 and still in profit. And guess what? I'm not going to sell it anyway, so I don't care that it's going down 30 over the last 30 minutes. I'm showing it to you guys, or the last 2 hours, excuse me. The reason I'm showing it to you guys is because you guys care. Is there going to be another drop? Yeah, to be honest with you, there might be. We could see Bitcoin drop down here and break this uptrending level of support right here on the hourly chart. We could see Bitcoin drop down into the mid-40s, and to be honest with you, I would not be surprised at all if we did. You know why? Because we're in a bear flag right now, and theoretically speaking, this bear flag has a price target all the way down at 40K. Could we go to 40K? Yeah, we totally could. Am I excited about that? Am I scared of that? I'm not scared of that. I'm excited about it. I would love for Bitcoin to go down to $40,000 because as much as I'm already very exposed to Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, I would just have to buy more down there because that would probably drive Cardano down to $1. That'd probably drive Ethereum down to $3,800. And I'd be buying the dip. I remember back in March of last year when Bitcoin dropped down to $3,500, 3.8K, and Ethereum dropped down to $200. I remember looking at Ethereum. I think Ethereum actually dropped down to $80, and I remember like, oh gosh, I want to buy Ethereum, but I'm so scared about a recession forming because of everything that's happening in the traditional financial markets and the oil markets crashing, and I don't know if I want to buy anything, but I'm glad I did because you know what? I bought Ethereum. I remember I set up a dollar cost average to buy 2 Ethereum every single Friday. Back then when it was like $130 a coin. You know how glad I am that I did that? Because I didn't get freaked out about the drop and I saw it as an opportunity. Billionaires are made during recessions, guys, and whales are made during corrections. So don't get freaked out about a correction. Be excited. Be looking for an opportunity. Maybe the opportunity isn't yet. Maybe your technical analysis is telling you, yeah, we're going to go down to 38. Okay, cool. Then let it go down to 38 and buy it. But just don't let your emotions control you because when you let emotions into this space, into your mind, you might think that you can control those emotions in trading. You can't. They're going to run you. You've got to make sure you're looking at it logically. And the final thing I'll mention here is that there was a congressional discussion that happened in Congress led by, I believe, Maxine Waters, the Democrat from California, led this. And she said, as quoted, currently cryptocurrency markets have no overarching or centralized regulatory framework. She really did not understand her audience when she used the word centralized, did she? Or centralized regulatory framework, leaving investments in the digital asset space vulnerable to fraud, manipulation, and abuse. Here's the thing. When you're reading political statements like this, you got to read it 2 ways. One, you got to read it at its surface value. She's absolutely right on the surface. On the surface, the cryptocurrency space is theoretically vulnerable to fraud, manipulation, and abuse. But you got to realize a politician never means what they say. They almost always mean something else that is not exactly what they said. Maxine Waters is clearly not a fan of cryptocurrencies, and she is one of the big advocates for cryptocurrency regulation. So when she says this, she might actually be right in everything she said, but you got to be careful because, and by the way, this is not a Democrat, Republican, this is a bipartisan thing. I'm talking about every single one of those people up on Capitol Hill. When they say one thing, they might mean that, but they also kind of mean something else. There's subtext to it. And the subtext to this is we need more regulation on the cryptocurrency space because we don't like that it's a threat to the US dollar. And that's what it is. I'll read down here on 7 points you need to know in Investor Place, and I actually tweeted this one. This one's really funny. Basically, what happened is a bunch of CEOs from the cryptocurrency space. We had the CEO of Paxos, we had the CEO of Circle, we had a bunch of different big names. The Coinbase CFO was up there, all having this cryptocurrency hearing, and the Circle CEO, Jeremy Allaire, analogized that the U.S. dollar is to postal mail what crypto is to email. Boom, mic drop. That's exactly right, and that's really funny that he got in front of Congress and said that. Shout out to you, Circle CEO Jeremy Allaire. This analogy implies that the speed and settlement time of cryptocurrency is much greater than if its transactions were made with dollars, and he's absolutely right. So basically what we saw happen yesterday, a lot of CEOs came together on Capitol Hill testifying for Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. And the reason we're paying close attention to this and why we've been following these stories for the last year is because what happens in the next 2 or 3 years around cryptocurrency regulation will either, one, set up a framework that Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies will be able to use to succeed, or two, it will set up a framework wherein we are slaves to the U.S. government because they have complete and total authoritarian control over this industry. We have to make sure that our voices are heard, so make sure you write your congresspeople if you're in America and say, hey, when you are talking about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, remember why they exist. It's not for fraud. It's not for money laundering. It's to free me from the crappy system that you're a part of. Because cryptocurrencies were built to make you free. They weren't made to make you rich. They probably will make you rich if you work in this space, and we do want you to do that, but they weren't made to make you rich. They were made to make you free. With that said, let's read some super chats.
Yeah, we got some good ones here. Let's scroll up to the top. We have one. This is a donation for the kids, but there's a question from it from Crypto Alchemist as well. He said, donation for the kids, $20 trading question. What indicators do you look for when confirming a breakout in either direction? Daily close below / support above resistance, or how long does a breakout need to hold to be a fake out?
Yeah, good question. So
To not be a fake out, sorry.
So one of the big things I look at is that, because this is a question I've had for a long time. One of the things I look at is actually Lux Algo, and it's the strategy that I use with it. If I'm looking for a confirmed movement, then I have those 3 confirmations. I look for the trend catcher, I look for the buy and sell signals, and I look for Lux Oscillator. And if those 3 say the same thing, then I call that a confirmed indication of a trend, and I will give about 80% certainty that it's probably right. I've seen Lux Algo be about 70 to 80% accurate with that strategy. And that's a lot better than most of what you're going to be able to find anywhere else. So, one, I think Lux Algo is great. You can find a link for it down below. They are an affiliate of the channel, but I don't care if they were an affiliate or not. I would be promoting them because I think it's a good project. But on top of that, you also need to make sure that the sentiment is in the right direction. And you need to figure out, is this movement a primary trend or a secondary trend? What do I mean by that? We are in a secondary down. Let me show you on the chart. We are in a secondary downtrend to a primary uptrend. Basically, what that means is that the primary trend on Bitcoin right now is up ever since July. We are in a secondary downtrend that is going counter to the uptrend. We've seen 2 of them. This basically tells me that I'm going to be more confident in any major movement to the upside than I am in a major movement to the downside, because we are more than likely going to continue this uptrend, and we're more than likely going to stick with this uptrend unless something major happens to say otherwise. I haven't seen any reason to believe that we're entering a new primary downtrend. We're still in a primary uptrend, so I'm going to bet on an uptrend if it seems to be strong enough. So those are a couple ways that I would go about that.
Gotcha. It's a hard question. I mean, confirmation. Like, confirmation, 100% confirmation, 80% confirmation. Because the truth is, you won't 100% confirm any breakout until it gets to the very top of whatever it broke out of.
Yeah.
So
a little late by then.
Yep. Matthew Eady said, Jebb, I've been buying the 88 dip average price of 1.3, but it's still going. I'm scared. Rub my ego, please. Tell me I'm right.
So why are you scared? Very simple. Why are you scared? Tell us in chat. Why are you scared? What are you scared about? If you're scared, you're in it for the wrong reason. I guarantee you, if you're scared, there's a problem. What are the problems? It's probably one of, I think, 2 problems. Either one, you've invested more than you're willing to lose. And you either need to invest less or you need to emotionally detach. If you've invested more than you're willing to lose, then you have either 1, invested money that you need to make bills, which is a mistake, or 2, you haven't invested more than you're actually willing to lose, but you're just scared because you're new to the space. If you're just new to the space and you're worried about losing money, I would say the best thing that can happen to you is for you to lose everything that you just put in there, because you'll realize on the other side, oh, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was. I can make that back. You know, some of the best lessons I've ever learned in crypto came with the highest prices. And that is something that I want you to realize, is that if you lose money in crypto, it's just a lesson. That's the cost of tuition. Kelly talked about that on our interview a couple weeks ago. You can back on the channel and watch that. He lost $60,000, his entire portfolio, when he got liquidated. And he said, and he's laughing about it now. It's a year and a half, 2 years later, and he's laughing about it. And it's really cool because he says, yeah, it's the price of tuition. I learned a valuable lesson that I will never make that mistake again. So if you're scared of it, I would encourage you that, you know, a lot of that will go away with time. You just need to have the experience and be here for a little while. You'll build your nerve. It's kind of like, you know, talking to a girl for the first time. You're in 7th grade. You're all nervous, but you know, now you're 30 and you're like, oh yeah, whatever. I've done this before. You know, you get used to it. But also, just make sure you haven't put too much in. Gotcha.
We have another one from the Hybrid Family. If you would have used the first 1,200 stimulus check and bought Bitcoin, you would have 7,000 plus. If you would have bought Ethereum, you would have 23,000 plus. And that is with the current dip. Hodl on.
Hodl on, my friends. And that wasn't long ago. That wasn't even 2 years ago. So, absolutely. Somebody, Leron49 said, I'm scared because I've no more to buy the dips. That's, I would rather you be scared because of that than because you've bought. I would, you know, so I kind of agree with that. I'm sitting here on my hands like, crap, I want to buy more, but I already have so much. You know what I mean? So,
let's see, there's something. Is it you talking about the Meyer change? A little lower. We have a new note in our
planning document.
Which one?
WhatsApp begins offering Novi money transfers to some users in the United States of America. Interesting. I'll read this. while we are looking at super chats.
Yeah, we got a couple more super chat. Well, we have a lot. What I want to do is, and I probably can't read all of them. We had a lot of people donate to Made for More on super chats, which is great. Again, we will figure out how to get that to him because again, it's not going to be 100%. But I already said Crypto Alchemist donated. Joyce Holloman gave $100.
Whoa, thank you.
For it. Matt C. donated. I can't read all the chats, guys. I'm so sorry. I'm going to read the names, though. Greg Gressick donated. Justin Cooper. Crypto Sam. Ben Billett. Eric Taylor. Louis Gordills. Desert Crypto ETH. And I think that is all the names that gave. But just,
Man,
I want to thank you guys so
much.
much. Again, for those of you who missed it, go back and watch the beginning of this video because we said it in the beginning. I know sometimes people get frustrated when we talk about things that aren't crypto, but here is the deal. If your purpose in life is to make crypto, it might be time to go back to the drawing board. The purpose of making crypto is so you can do what you were supposed to do with this life. Made for More and organizations like it with Joel this morning is the reason why this channel exists.
Yep.
We want to see you people, all of our listeners, we want to see you live out the life that you were made to live. And that's not, there are a lot of people in this world that it's not possible. There are so many things stacked against them. And people like Joel and people like Made for More, they are fighting every single day to help people who have a lot stacked against them continue to live out their purpose. Not make excuses for them, not just baby them, but to teach them how to do just what Jebb did. And I think a lot of you guys did. You sat there with almost nothing in your plate and said, I'm not going to sit still. I'm going to gnaw and scratch and climb my way out of this hole. And you guys know, someone coming alongside of you to help you can change the entire game for the rest of your life. That's why we had Joel on here. That's why we exist as a channel, is to help every single person accomplish that. So if that's something that you guys like, I would heavily encourage you to continue. If you're already subscribed, don't unsubscribe ever. If you're not subscribed and you've been thinking about it for a little bit, consider hitting that subscribe button because this channel not only teaches you how to invest and trade crypto, but also helps give you all the tools so that you can do exactly what you were put here to do.
We have a pinned tweet over on my Twitter, and I will read directly from it. We fight for the little guy with nothing to his name, the person who is building something to change their future. We fight for them because we were them. We felt hopeless, ill-equipped, and stuck. We felt like the big guy had all the access and all the opportunities that we wanted. They had the tools they needed to control their fate and make an impact on this world. We invest in ourselves and found a way towards freedom. Freedom to do what we had hoped for. Freedom to control our fate and freedom to change the world. We're here on this journey together to inspire and equip you to succeed in your pursuit of financial freedom and a purpose-driven life. God bless you. If you want to help to support the ministry that we're a partner with, check out madeformoreempire.org. I believe that's it. Check the link down below. It is the first link in the description, and go and support them, guys. And just remember, life's more about it. Life's more than a number in your bank account, and I can tell you that from experience at this point. I've made money. I've made the money that I set out to make, and it means nothing if you don't use it for the right reason. So I just encourage you to remember that there's something more to life than just stacking sats. You're stacking sats for a reason. You're stacking sats because you want to be able to, pay for your father if he's in the hospital, or you want to be able to provide a home for your children, or you want to be able to pay for your kids' college or tuition through CT2A, or you want to be able to donate to something like Made for More. You're doing this for a reason. I guarantee you it's deeper than money. I promise you, if you check your heart and you really go deep, there's a deeper reason that you're doing this than just because you want to get rich. I guarantee you. And by the way, if that really is the reason, you're going to stop at some point, because I've witnessed people try and go and say, I want to make $1 billion, I want to make $100 million, and they stop because $2 million is enough for them. If you really want to make a big amount of money, it's got to be deeper than that. There's got to be a reason. There's got to be a way that you're helping to build the world into a better place. And I guarantee you that if you figure that out, you are going to have a life that you never realized was possible, because there's something deeper there than just trying to make more money. And that's what we're here for. Yes, we want you to become financially free, but that's not our ultimate purpose. Our ultimate purpose is to help you live a purpose-driven life, because we believe that's where you're going to ultimately find fulfillment, satisfaction, and happiness. So make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Make sure that you hit that post notification bell. Make sure you follow myself and Tim and Smay and everybody in our office on Twitter so that you can be up to date on all of the things that we are doing, because we're on a mission to make you free. That's why we're here. And if you want to be a part of that, it's very simple. Make sure to subscribe. You have any final thoughts, Tim?
Yeah, I want to read. I'm not going to be able to read all the rest of the super chats, but we did have others, and I do want to shout out their names. And if there's a really good question. I'll read it for sure. But Operation Exposed, again, gave another donation. Nicholas Evans, thank you so much. Crypto Vet, shout out to Crypto Vet.
Shout out to Crypto Vet. Thank you, man.
The Hybrid Family gave again. Stephen McCoy, Tony LaRusso gave again. Loween Mustafa, and Richard Brian Figueroa. Okay, that's a fun one. Figueroa.
It's not a complete. It's not a complete string unless Tim butchers a name.
Figueroa. Thank you guys so much for donating. Again, this channel wouldn't exist without you guys. Come on, Smeg.
What do you do?
We're taking the buttons away from him.
He's got that soundboard over there. All right, guys, we went off the rails. If you enjoyed today's show, make sure to hit that like button and make sure to click back in the stream and watch Joel's message. Powerful message, guys. Really appreciate that. And check out his ministry down below. Whether or not you decide to donate, just know that a portion of the revenue of our company does go to Joel, and we are very excited to be a partner of him. And you'll probably see more content around his ministry in the future as we continue to try and invest in the next generation, because we really believe that mentorship, inspiration, vision, everything that he stands for, we have the exact same vision. Anyway, if you enjoyed today's video, hit that like button. Before I go, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Oh, I got a real good